Let me tell you about some friends of mine. Just 14 years ago, they were blessed with their firstborn, a son, whom they named Carl. They were living in Germany at the time. Carl's father was a member of the armed forces of the United States. They were later transferred to the United States and subsequently moved from one army post to another. As little Carl began to grow, it became obvious that he was a child of unusual talents. At the age of 5, he was able to transpose some of the simple pieces of music from the major to the minor key. At the age of 8, he sang the male lead in the school Christmas musical opposite a girl in the 5th grade. He began to compose his own musical scores and played in a number of concerts. He became a Cub Scout. He won 2 blue ribbons in the Pinewood Derbies. He played football with his school team. At the age of 11, he won the Outstanding Scholastic Award at his school in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. He composed several short symphonic pieces and some concertinas. He finished reading the Book of Mormon before his 11th year. He finished reading the Doctrine and Covenants, the Pearl of Great Price, and almost finished the Bible before he was 12 years of age. He was ordained a deacon in the Aaronic priesthood on his 12th birthday. As his father said, he looked upon the honoring of the priesthood as a sacred duty and an opportunity second to none. About 6 months after Carl was ordained a deacon, it was found that he was afflicted with an inoperable cancerous brain tumor. He was taken to one of the finest hospitals in the entire country in Washington, D.C. It was finally determined that medical science was unable to help him further. At this time, Carl recognized the seriousness of his illness and the possibility that it might be fatal to him. He refused to be sorrowed by this knowledge and was anxious to pursue all the learning he could get. He was tutored at home by a most wonderful teacher and was very well along in his 8th grade studies before the disease incapacitated him. Here was a young man, not quite 13 years of age, endowed with exceptional talent, whose attitude was an inspiration not only to his family, but to all who knew him. As his father said, after Carl finally understood the seriousness of his illness, he refused to be sorrowed by this knowledge and was anxious to pursue all the learning that he could get. And what was the attitude of Carl's parents, their eldest son, the joy of their lives, a boy with the brightest of prospects for life, taken from them? What bitterness could have enveloped them? They could have taken the attitude that the Lord was unjust. They'd lived good lives. Why did this have to happen to a boy with such bright prospects? But rather, this was their attitude, in their own words. We shall be eternally grateful for the 13 wonderful years that we were privileged to have him in our midst. We know that we are blessed in the knowledge that we are sealed as an eternal family. We know that Carl was preparing to fill a mission. We know that he was prepared for that mission and that he is now filling it. No self-pity here, but rather an attitude of faith and hope and optimism, even under the most trying of circumstances.